treat them mean to keep them keen. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've heard this saying before, but this is the first time I've heard this in the last week. And I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers, Stephanie Forbes Hamilton. So, Stephanie, thank you for mentioning this in one of the comments. And today's video is all about why you should treat them mean to keep them keen. All right. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. Woo! Okay, first of all, when I say mean, I'm not talking about being cruel, okay? Some of the things I mentioned, you might think, oh, Silver Bachelor, come on, man, that's not really mean. All right, it's a little play on words. It's a little exaggerated, but there are 5 things I want to share with you right now that you can do that isn't necessarily mean, but you ultimately want to come across as distant with women in order to keep them interested. Okay, so if you see me looking off the sides because I made a bunch of notes, don't want to miss anything. So here's the thing. The more distant you are, the more women are going to want you. And that's just human nature. And the thing is, you might think, oh, Silver Bachelor, just a bunch of games. Like, why bother? Well, you know what? Mother Nature created men and women differently. And that's how Mother Nature created us. We can't change it. So it's either you accept it and do something about it, or use it to your advantage, or you're just going to mope and be under a rock your whole life and like crying, oh, life sucks. Oh, women suck. Yeah. So you just have to accept this, right? This fact. So treating women mean, like I said, doesn't mean being cruel. So by doing these 5 things, you will have them chasing you and wanting you. Okay, so here we go. All right. Number 1 is you need to stop texting them back so damn quickly, right? You're busy. Maybe you're not busy, but that's a telltale sign. The thing is, us guys are very, very fucking organized. When my phone is with me pretty much all the time, and I see text mostly, but women, same thing. However, they're getting inundated by a bunch of other guys texting them, right? Their phone is blowing up all day. Us guys, that's not happening. Our phones are not blowing up all day. However, if you text them back too quickly, they're going to get used to that and they're going to go, oh, this guy is just right there on my finger. I can text him whenever I want, and he's reliable, and he's going to get back to me. The thing is, when you don't text them back so quickly, and I'm not saying to always do this, there's times where you're trying to organize a meeting, right? And she's like, hey, I'm looking for you. Where are you? Well, obviously that's an exception. Or you're trying to plan a date and you're like, right? But I mean, in general, don't make it a habit where you're constantly so reliable, you're getting back to her all the time, like super, super fast. Because what happens is that there's times where she might, let's just say, as an example, it's Friday night. You're both kind of doing your own thing. You're not meeting on a Friday night. And she texts you at 7. And she's like, hey, so what are you up to tonight? But you've both agreed you're going to see each other on Saturday. Well, some of the times, this is what I do, is even though I see the text, I don't open the text, but I see it because they can also see read receipts. So you have to be careful with that one, right? If they get a read receipt and you don't respond, they're going to be like, what the fucking asshole? So you don't want to do that. So I could see they've texted me and it pops up as an alert, right? Sometimes I don't text them because maybe I'm out with my friends, I'm having a good time, and I think, you know what? I don't want to have a conversation right now. I'm busy. Or it's work and I'm really deep into a project, right? And I'm focused and I see my phone go off and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be disturbed. I want to focus and down. Now, in a woman's mind, what she's thinking, especially if it's on a Friday night, oh, is he on a date? Why didn't he get back to me? Right? Which is actually a good thing. But in general, there's times I just don't want to engage in back and forth texting when we're going to see each other the next day or whatever. And I'm busy with my friends. I'm busy working on something. So just make sure you don't text her all the time so damn quickly. Okay. So number 2 is don't be available to make plans last minute all the time. Okay, I get it. She's gorgeous. And you haven't been out dating somebody that's as gorgeous as her in a long time. And she hits you up and she's like, hey, what are you up to? You say, oh, just at home cleaning up or whatever. And she's like, hey, do you want to get together for dinner tonight? And it's not the weekend. Weekends could be an exception. And then I'll say this on the weekend, that's when the real estate is the most valuable in terms of if she hits you up on the weekend and says, hey, want to get together, typically, so it's hard to get dates at the beginning when you start seeing somebody on the weekend. I've had more date cancellations, bro, on the weekend. So now I schedule my first, second, third dates typically during the week. So this is what happens. Okay. If she, so on the one hand, it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, plans have fallen through, most likely, if it's a weekend night and she's hitting you up last minute. It's 7 o'clock, Friday, Saturday night. Her plans have fallen through and you're a backup. Okay. Now, sometimes, depending on the girl, sometimes I will say, okay, cool. And I'll get together with them. But there's other times I'll say, hey, I already made plans. So that actually works better most times when you say, I've already made plans, even though you have no fucking plans. You're sitting there by yourself at home because you want her to feel like, wait a minute, this guy is busy. I can't just hit him up last minute like this. I have to plan in advance. But I forewarn you, the hotter she is, the more she makes plans last minute because she always wants to base things on what's her best option in that moment. So I've had the worst time, so many instances where she's a beautiful woman and I try to make a plan a week out and they're like all non-committal. It's because they're constantly, imagine from their perspective, they're getting hounded by dudes left and right. I remember, I'll share this quick story. I was at a restaurant bar. There was a woman sitting beside me. We ended up having a conversation. We talked about Bumble and she says, oh yeah. I said, so how do you find Bumble? And she's like, oh, it's overwhelming. And I said, why is it overwhelming? And she's like, well, I joined it 90 days ago around there, and I've already had 5,800 likes or messages. What the fuck? 58 in 90 days. Dude, wow, that's insane. She was average looking, 32, kind of overweight. I was shocked. And I actually did a video on this. So that's the thing. Women typically want to wait until their best option for the weekends. So that's number two. Don't be available last minute all the time to make plans. Number three, don't say to her, now this is at the beginning, like the first few months are critical when you start dating someone. I would say 3 months. 3 months, do not say that you like her. Do not say that you love her. Do not ask her to be your girlfriend. None of that. She can tell that you like her. You don't have to say, oh, I like you so much. I really like you. Because she's going to start to lose interest, bro. I see it all the time. In 90 Day Fiance, it's a damn train wreck. You have to excuse the sirens because I live right on Peachtree Street, and it's like the artery for, no pun intended, for like emergency services. So, all right, Caesar on 90 Day Fiance, this guy cracks me up. He's such a simp and loser. So this guy, one time, he goes on this mail order bride kind of thing, goes to Ukraine. I don't know how much money he paid for this. And he goes on a bunch of dates. And this one girl he likes, and she seems to kind of like him. And after the first date, he asks her if she wants to be his girlfriend. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? You don't ask a girl to be your girlfriend. In fact, I would say never say you love her. Never say, do you want to be my girlfriend? Unless she asks first or she says she loves you first. You need her to dictate the pace. Don't push it. I will share one other thing, man. It's just, this is important. One of my female friends, right? Now, she's 54 and she went out on some dates with a pilot and he's 58. Okay. And I won't mention her name just out of respect for her. So she goes out with this pilot and she tells me a few nights ago when we were out just having some happy hour, and she tells me, she's like, he starts coming on a little strong. He's only gone out on a few dates with her, and he's already saying how much he likes her and he can see them together and all this stuff. It is a turnoff. And like back to my original point, you treat them mean to keep them keen. So not to be mean, but basically you don't say you like her, you don't say you love her, you don't ask her to be your girlfriend, any of that until she starts bringing these like things up first. All right. So number 4 is you are a pushover and a people pleaser. So women do not want a pushover and a people pleaser, okay? If you have an opinion, stick to it. Like, for example, if she's vegan and you're like, you know what? Vegan's not for me. I'm a carnivore. I like my fish. I like my chicken. I like my beef. And she's like, well, aren't you open to trying it? Nope. 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 Not doing it. Not being a vegan. This is what I mean. Justin Fenderline, I think if I'm pronouncing his name right, the guy who married Britney Spears, one of her marriages, the first guy that she has the kids with. Anyways, some of you are probably wondering, how the fuck did Britney Spears fall in love and marry this backup dancer? Well, one of the key things that's interesting is he treated her like she's not a celebrity. He treated her like she's a normal person, held his ground on his opinions, teased her, and that's why she fell for him, because she's like, you know what? Everyone else puts me up on a pedestal, whereas he treats me like I'm not on this pedestal, holds to his opinions, and this is what I mean. You don't want to be a pushover and you don't want to be a people pleaser. And then the last thing is, the 5th thing is, do not let her take the lead. So this is a little bit on the mean side. I refuse a woman taking the lead on me. So this happens sometimes. Some women are a little more on the alpha side, right? And when I go to plan a date, if they try to hijack that date and say, you know, I know you'd like to go to this place, but instead, do you mind if we do this instead? Now that's further on. If I've been dating them for a while, I get it. They don't want to get dressed up, or they prefer to get dressed up and not wear athletics wear or whatever. But if it's like the first few dates and they're trying to hijack that date and change it up on you because they don't like that restaurant, it's a little different. If, let's say, so in Atlanta, there's a lot of Mexican restaurants. And I understand if she says, look, I really don't like Mexican food. Do you mind if we try something else? That's different. But I mean, she's like, you know what? I'd rather not do dinner and drinks. I'd rather just go to the park and sit there and have a drink. No. This is what I want to do for the first date, and it might seem a little mean. This is what I'm getting at, but I like to take charge and say, look, this is our first few meets, and you should be, I've said this before, you should be grateful that I'm asking you out because I'm also paying for everything. All right. So also, just as you're in a relationship, you don't want them to take the lead and have to make decisions all the time for you. So for example, and I made this mistake when I was married before, I've been single for 2 years now, and I made the mistake at the time where she would say, so what do you want to have for dinner? And I'd say, I don't know. What do you want to have for dinner? Right? What do you want to do tonight? I don't know. What do you want to do tonight? That's what I'm talking about. So do not let her take the lead. It's kind of an alpha thing to be very like, hey, I'd like to do this. Let's do that. And she's like, well, I don't really feel like it. Okay, well, do you want to get together another day? I've done that, dude. I don't care. If it's like, look, she should be fucking grateful that I want to take her to this nice place and romance her. And if that's not good enough, then I'll say, hey, look, I don't know what's going on or whatever. Maybe you're not feeling well, but why don't we plan this for another time? Especially if it's like a big deal. Like I want to take them to the aquarium or something else. And it's like a nice thing. And they're getting all picky on me and shit. So that's what I mean. All right. So let me know in the comments what you think. And what have you done to be mean to keep them keen? All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.